everybody. Welcome to another riveting episode of Title Here. We don't have a title for this podcast just yet, just Stan and I talking, but this is episode 2, and we're going to do 7 facts, 7 misconceptions about North Idaho. See if you guys know what's going on and tell you the truth and the lies and everything else going on.
Yeah, we'll embellish some more on top of it. How about that?
All right, so we're going to start off with 7 myths about Kootenai County or North Idaho altogether. Everyone, this is just some things that we thought of that people might think of at the current time that's going on, thinking that they're going to move over here. Number 1 is that everything here is more affordable compared to other states. I could argue both points there because depends where you're comparing from, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're comparing from California, where a house, a 3-2 that's 1,500 square feet, is $1 million. I mean,
right.
You get something a little nicer over here. It's cheaper.
Sure. I mean, it's $500,000.
Exactly. And so you'll be able to save some money, pocket it from selling your house in California to moving here. But I would agree that in general, probably not cheaper, especially just look across the border in Spokane.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we were just looking at that one house that we know would be, $100,000 more over here.
Yeah.
But it's in Spokane.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I mean, it's all relative, right?
Yeah.
But things are not cheap in North Idaho, especially when you factor in what people get paid for the jobs and things like that. So if you're working remotely and you've got a great paying job from Western Washington or Oregon or California, then you're set.
Yeah.
Especially if you're selling a house down there. Typically, you're going to come out quite a bit ahead.
Yeah.
But if you're a young couple starting out and you're still living here in North Idaho and you look at those home prices and cost of entry is $500,000 pretty much. I mean,
still median price around here. It's still above the median U.S. average home sale in the U.S. It's still above that. So I mean, it's all relative at the end of the day. If we're trying to compare to even just St. Mary's, I mean, the location is everything out there.
Right.
You get a nice place for $250. But it's all relative at the end of the day. Kootenai and North Idaho in general is definitely a little bit more expensive than just right across the border or south.
For sure. Yeah, it is.
Number 2, you can always get a house on acreage.
Well, let's define number 1, acreage, and then let's define number 2, a house.
Yeah.
I mean, if the axles are still on it, I mean, you can still find that kind of setup on 5 acres for, $400,000.
I mean, I had a seller's consultation not too long ago where it was a single wide, still on axles on 5 acres. That one was a little interesting because it was moved 2 times and all the nuances that would go with that. That was $300 to $350 for 5 acres in Spirit Lake. It wasn't too bad,
right?
But still a little out the ways, but it's not everywhere, I would say.
And you touched on it exactly. It's not that bad at that price, honestly, because if you were to buy an undeveloped 5-acre chunk of land, and when I say undeveloped, that means no power, no water, no septic system installed. All of that infrastructure costs money. Sometimes punching a well, depending on where the house sits, you could be $150,000 into a well. So, I mean, on the surface, a $250,000 5-acre chunk sounds really good till you start adding everything up before you even think about building a house. So
then we also got to think of people coming here might not know that not everything's flat here.
Right, right, that's true.
So you're coming over here, expect to get a nice flat piece of acreage, 5 acres. I mean, that might not happen. Depending on your budget, it might be a steep, just cliffside. And you're like, where are you going to put your house? Exactly.
You're going to lock those brakes on those axles.
Number 3, waterfront is everywhere and it's all within budget.
Well, waterfront is abundant here. The budget thing, again, it's all relative, right? Least expensive house I know of right now on Hayden Lake. Kind of a nice setup. It just went pending last week, $1.6 million. Yeah. It's got 2 houses on it. Yeah. Both of them are small. I think they're a 2-2 and a 2-1. Yeah. So they're cabins. They're on the backside of Hayden Lake. Hayden's not a huge lake. Yeah. If you're looking at Coeur d'Alene Lake, depending on where at. If you're on the south end of the lake, you can still find stuff for in that 400. A lot of it's really steep, but still it's waterfront. It's just making the drive to any services like town, going shopping, things like that. It's our trip.
So it seems like the common theme here is relative and what do you need and what don't you need. If you want to be in town, close to Coeur d'Alene or anything like that, to hospitals or just the grocery stores, it's going to be a little bit more expensive. But if you're willing to go around or a little bit further outside, I mean, you can always find something.
Right.
It's what you need.
It is. And, it's a lot of people that come here, they're like, oh, we don't mind living rural. And then they live rural and I've had this happen several times over the years. They'll live rural for 18 months, 2 years. And then like, you know what? We're tired of making that drive.
Yeah.
And they end up wanting to sell. And that could cause a problem because most people do understand what rural means and what the drive is like. And even if you're really tough skinned and used to making a lot of, hours behind the wheel, it gets old fast.
Yeah.
Especially when you're dealing with climate like ours with snow and things like that. So.
The summer is beautiful. We didn't have any rain this year, but once the snow starts coming, you're gonna regret it.
Absolutely. Yep.
But even out in Spirit Lake, I remember first time I saw it, I was baffled that there are parts around Spirit Lake that you can only get to by boats, and the lake will freeze, so you don't have access to it half the year. And those are pretty cheap. Those could be in budget.
Those are really cheap.
Those all relative at the end of the day.
Well, hopefully it gets cold enough that we can walk across the lake to get to your house.
That'd be one way. That'd be one way to do it. Park on the other side of the lake. I need to go to the car real quick, honey. I'll be back in 2 hours.
Yep. The good old boat access only.
Number 4, we don't need to worry about inspections in Idaho. I don't know who would be telling people that.
I don't know where you got that one from.
Bonner County, dude.
Yeah, Bonner County itself is scary, and they didn't have building codes for a long time, so they still really don't right now. I mean, it's pretty much plumbing, electrical, and I think framing and insulation. Yeah. That's it.
Well, Bonner County is right above us in Kootenai County. That's where I guess a lot of people are going for that acreage to be able to be in the country and have that feel. And so they didn't have a bunch of permitting back until when you want to say 90s or
I mean it was 90s, mid 90s when they started at least permitting the basic stuff, foundation, like things I just mentioned. So, but you definitely need inspections. I mean that
regardless of where it's at.
It's buyer beware in the state of Idaho. So you really highly recommend it. I always tell my buyers, get an inspection. Have a reputable company inspect the house. We got to look for mold, especially, is a big deal. Things like that. So,
was the seller going to pay for my homeowner's inspection?
Hell yes. Yeah, we will negotiate that in the contract. And by and large, I've never in almost 30 years, I've never had a seller say no. Not even new construction. The builders sometimes they kind of, why are they getting an inspection? And things even come up on new construction. 100%. Sometimes GFIs fail. Sometimes GFIs aren't wired correctly. Sometimes the fart fan is not connected up in the attic. So I've seen that several times on new construction.
Especially these days with everything I see on social media of these new construction home inspectors going through, and I haven't seen any here, but I've seen it in Arizona and stuff like that, where they're building all these new construction and they have a bunch of stuck on the lap siding just coming off, the stick going. It's like brand new construction. It's supposed to be perfect. And at the end of the day, regardless if it's old, new, or what have you, definitely need an inspection to make sure everything is up to snuff, especially with new construction, because you're buying it new. No one's ever lived in it. With resale, you're like, all right, you could see some of the issues, but with new construction, you shouldn't have any issues because it's brand new.
Right. Well, and let's be real. Sometimes sellers on a resale house, they forget some of the issues they've had in the past.
Exactly. Where are we at? Number 5, sellers don't need to prep because everything sells anyways.
Wrong. Well, we were on a listing appointment. Was it Friday?
Friday.
Yeah. And prep is super important. Even the sellers realize that. I mean, looking at Zillow, you're going to look more at the houses that present themselves well over the ones that don't. Yeah. So that's just common sense.
For-
I would think.
First impressions is key. It doesn't matter the price of the house. If I see it still way too often these days where agents are taking cell phone pictures and throwing it up on the MLS.
Yep.
Like, that's your family realtor, friend realtor that probably is like, I could get away with this. But it's just too often still, and it's 2025.
Yeah.
Professional photos are not that expensive to get done, and just the basic pack of making it look nice, making it look airy. And
Well, even staging, a lot of times a house is vacant. You know, somebody gets a job relo or something like that. I mean, if you can do virtual staging, it really helps define a room.
Yeah.
So if people have a tough time imagining their furniture in places. So they need to see those photos.
Agreed. Especially with what I've heard it time and time again when someone's coming through to view a house and like it's either empty or like the walls are a weird color and people just can't get past that for some reason. Like the wall's purple. It's disgusting. I get it. It's a purple wall. You could easily paint that. I just can't see past the purple wall.
Exactly.
Like the easy fix. And like people just can't envision that. So just like even if it's virtual staging, it just gives people an idea of what could fit, what goes there, what room this is.
I've seen houses, some agents, I don't know how they're doing it, but some of it's virtually painted.
Yeah.
Like, because they understand that, like, say a dining room's got that purple, like you mentioned from the 90s.
Yeah.
And then the next photo shows it, you know, with like tan walls or white walls or, you know, something more neutral.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's a pretty good idea. I didn't even know that existed.
There's all in putting your best foot forward. And even if you like get those later on and then upload it, I feel like you still lose that what I'm looking for, the momentum you could have had of having it already from the jump. Because if you put on the market today and all you have is cell phone pictures ready, but you're getting the professional ones later, I feel like that's a big disservice.
You nailed it earlier. You know, one shot at a first impression. That's it.
Yep. Where we at? Number 6, North Idaho homes don't have competition anymore.
Tons of competition. I mean, when I got started in the business, you know, back in the 1999, we had probably a handful of builders, maybe, and we nobody even understood really what production builder those terms actually meant. And now we've got a lot of them. I think we had 3 production builders when I got in the business: Hallmark, Viking, and Crescent Homes. That was it that I can think of that were, you know, banging out 100 homes a year, you know, that kind of stuff. And now we've got Hayden Homes up here. You know, we've got D.R. Horton now. We've got so many more production builders that are up here. So yeah, competition is pretty fierce. Yeah, and that's a good thing for the consumer. Yeah, it really is, because back then you know, you really with only 3 choices.
You get what you get at that point.
Absolutely. Yeah, and not saying they were in cahoots, but
could have been. Well, maybe
rumors are.
But competition at the end of the day is good. It gives you choices, and I would say that all the different builders offer different things. So maybe something's a little bit more important to you that this builder offers, that only thrives from competition of trying to get that specific person that is looking for that home. Like when you only had 3, they all built the same thing.
Right.
That's all you get.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So now with the competition, like you said, it's just way better for the consumer, and they can shop the different, you know, styles and find out what separates one builder, Architera, maybe from Hallmark Homes. So,
well, not even with new construction, even resale. I mean, historically speaking, we've always generally had a higher amounts of inventory than like the national average, but it's positioning at the end of the day. Like we have a lot of houses, but we're still seeing houses go within the first week or 2 hitting the market because it was positioned correctly. I mean, if you want to see that, if there wasn't competition at the end of the day, people are going to be concerned that they're going to miss out. And
yeah, that's 100%. I sent a house to a guy on Friday morning, and he was out of town, didn't make it back till Saturday. He asked me about it. It was pending because it was positioned correctly in the market.
But it's December, Stan. Doesn't the market slow down?
Agents slow down. The market doesn't slow down for anybody.
I agree, especially a home that's positioned well and it's a good deal and people see it, I mean,
Yep.
fly off the shelves.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what price it is at the end of the day.
It doesn't. If you are positioned right. In fact, some of the best sales happen over the winter months because so many people take their houses off the market come Thanksgiving. So our inventory drops off a good 15 to 18%. So if you're still out there, and if you're positioned correctly, higher probability you're going to sell.
100%. And December 1st, I saw there was over 200 homes that on that single day came off the market. And since then, I've seen anywhere from 5 to 10 homes come off the market a day.
Yeah, and we only had like 14 new listings today.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Competition is down, folks, at the end of the day, and still, obviously, everyone has their own needs and wants and whatnot, but everyone thinks that the summer is the best time to sell, and it really doesn't matter at the end of the day.
It doesn't. No.
Last and not least, number 7, you don't need a local agent. Zillow tells you everything you need to know, and all you need is Zillow, Stan. So we're out of a job.
Well, good. That's great. I'll see you.
That's it, folks.
That's a wrap.
Oh.
Yeah. Let's ask Zillow about things like radon, carpenter ants, floodplain levels, which you're experiencing over in Kingston. There's a whole slew of things that are local that you need to be aware of, and that's where hiring a professional really comes into play. And Zillow will never, ever be able to explain those things to you. In fact, Zillow probably has no clue what radon is.
Agreed. I mean, agreed with that statement. I mean, they're gonna. But isn't your estimate right on Zillow? Isn't your house worth $2 million, Stan?
Well, I'll tell you, 2 years ago it was way wrong.
Yeah.
Zillow's gotten better because they have access to our MLS now.
Yeah.
So they're able to see. Prior to that, they couldn't really see what the value of homes were, at least in the MLS. They had access to public records because Idaho is a public record state, and it's all there for anybody to look at. So that's what they accessed, and they were basing everything on tax valuations. Which, luckily, because we live in such a great state, the tax valuations are always lower than what actual retail value would be for a house. So that's what Zillow based everything on, and they were way wrong. So they would just sprinkle a little extra on top of it, or they would capture actives from Spokane and try to base them on there. But since they've joined our multiple listing system and have access to it now, they're a lot closer. So I'm not going to say they're way off, because I've checked on even my personal residence, and it's pretty spot on. So,
a while back I heard a quote, and forgive me if I'm butchering this, but if you're not paying for a product, you are the product. And even though Zillow is free, you try to request a tour or evaluation or whatnot, your phone might be getting blown up by our realtors. And so they're paying for it, hand over fist, to be able to get your information.
They are. They really are.
And people telling you everything you want to hear as opposed to telling you the truth. I'm not saying that's everyone. It's just something you hear way too often in this industry.
Unfortunately, it's true. So, I mean, there's just a small percentage that still operate within the ethical guidelines that they should. That's just the whole world we live in.
Yeah. Doesn't matter what industry it is.
Right. Exactly. I haven't bought a car in a while.
I did. And let me tell you, it was not a fun experience. All right. That's number 7. Anything else you want to add? Any fun facts for people who may not know anything about Northern Idaho? Or
no, I mean, that last question, I really like that one about, people putting so much weight on Zillow. I mean, for information's sakes, it works pretty good. They have their little scores on how close they are to grocery stores and stuff like that. That's all good. But really, knowing and hiring an expert that lives here, that boots on the ground, so to speak, that's going to pay off dividends, especially when we talk about things like carpenter ants or, foundation issues or anything like that. That's when you need an expert.
100% agree. Well, if you need an expert, I'll have his information and my information down below.
Right on.
See you guys in the next one.
See ya.
Nice. Heck yeah, dude.